Our daughter, Lily, aged 20 and home from college for a break, introduced us to her new boyfriend about 5 months ago. We'll call him Mark. This news caught my husband, 46, M, and me, 48, off guard since Lily hadn't mentioned dating anyone. Normally, she's very open, especially with me, sharing details of her life freely. However, this time she was unusually guarded about Mark, revealing only that they met through a friend at a party. We were supportive but curious, as she shared no photos or further details. Lily spent the last month of her vacation in her college town and planned to return home this weekend. She asked if she could bring Mark for a few days to meet us, saying their relationship was serious. Though we pointed out how little we knew about him, Lily insisted it would be a pleasant surprise and that we'd like him. Since he was clearly important to her, we agreed, looking forward to spending time together. When we picked them up at the airport, we were stunned. Mark was visibly much older than Lily, clearly not a college student. I was shocked but kept quiet to avoid a scene, urging my husband to do the same. The drive home was tense, and Lily noticed the awkward atmosphere. Once we arrived, my husband directly asked Mark his age. He admitted he was 44. I felt repulsed. He's only 2 years younger than my husband and could be Lily's father. My husband pressed further, asking about their meeting and relationship. Lily explained they connected at a party, as Mark was a familiar face in town, and they bonded over shared interests. I didn't want to hear more, and my husband asked Mark to leave. Lily protested, calling it unfair and insisting we hadn't given him a chance, emphasizing how happy he made her. Sensing the tension, Mark left and Lily followed. I texted her, inviting her to come back and talk, but clarified that Mark wasn't welcome. She called me judgmental and refused to come, saying they'd stay at a local hotel to meet friends. I feel awful and don't want to lose my daughter over this. My husband is adamant, saying he'd lose control if he saw Mark again. Was I wrong to exclude Mark, or did I do the right thing? Update 1. Thank you all for the overwhelming feedback. I didn't expect so much attention and appreciate the honesty, even with divided opinions. I haven't replied to comments due to being overwhelmed, but here's an update. On Sunday, I was feeling low and told my husband I wanted to see Lily. Knowing this meant seeing Mark too, I suggested meeting them at a neutral spot for brunch. My husband wasn't ready, so I went alone. Seeing Lily eased my nerves, though I still felt uneasy around Mark. I used the brunch to learn more about him. When asked how he ended up at a college party, Mark explained he attended the same college years ago, loved the area, and stayed, frequenting local bars and student hangouts. I found this unsettling but stayed polite. I learned Mark has never married, has no kids, works as a software developer, and enjoys yoga and cooking. Something about him still felt off, perhaps due to my biases. Lily shared how they connect over favorite local spots, their love for Italian food, and how Mark's maturity resonates with her. Mark called Lily his ideal partner and said he was serious about her. When I asked about past relationships with younger women, Lily seemed uncomfortable, but Mark said he usually avoids relationships, yet Lily was special. After 2 hours, we wrapped up. Lily was glad I showed interest and asked if they could come for dinner sometime. I said I'd discuss it with her dad. Mark shook my hand and we parted. My husband is still hesitant, but I feel we must keep the door open to stay close to Lily. I'm still wary of Mark, but I'll try to stay open-minded. Thoughts welcome. Update 2. Sorry for the delay in updating and not responding to messages. It's been overwhelming. A lot has happened in the past week, so here's the latest. After brunch, I discussed inviting Lily and Mark for dinner with my husband. He was firmly against it, but I convinced him it was necessary to avoid pushing Lily away entirely. After much debate, he agreed, and we invited them for dinner last Saturday. I also spoke to our eldest daughter, Mia, 23, Lily's sister, about the situation. Mia was stunned, as Lily hadn't told her anything. Mia looked into Mark's social media but found little presence. Though I hesitated, I let Mia join the dinner. At the event, Mia interrogated Mark intensely, asking why he pursues younger women and why he attends college parties at his age. Lily repeatedly asked her to stop, and I tried to mediate. My husband was visibly angry but stayed quiet. Then Lily and Mark shared big news. They planned to move in together for the upcoming college year. I was floored, as Lily had planned to live with friends. When I questioned this, Mark said he saw Lily as his lifelong partner and future mother of his children, not wanting to waste time. My husband exploded, telling Mark to leave. Mark seemed offended, Lily cried, and Mia called Mark a predator, escalating things further. Lily left with Mark in tears. My husband stormed upstairs, and I was devastated. I've reached out to Lily since, but she hasn't replied. I'm worried about her moving in with Mark. It feels like he's derailing her life. At 20, she doesn't need marriage or kids, especially with someone his age. This is her first relationship, and she seems too infatuated to listen. My husband says if Lily marries Mark, he's done with her. I can't agree with that, as I'll always love her, but this situation breaks my heart. Update 3. About a year ago, I shared about my then 20-year-old daughter, Lily, dating Mark, now 45. So much has happened, and finding this account prompted me to update due to the many messages received. In short, Lily is engaged and pregnant. They got engaged in January after roughly a year together, and the pregnancy was announced in March. She's keeping the baby, due later this year. I'm heartbroken and struggling to accept this. Lily was vibrant, social, and full of life. Now she lives with Mark in her college town, having dropped out due to the pregnancy. Most of her friends have distanced themselves because of Mark. My husband is barely in contact with Lily and wants nothing to do with Mark. Mia feels the same, refusing to engage with Lily or her baby while she's with Mark. I stay in touch with Lily, not just because I love her, but because I fear she'll have no one if things fall apart. In March, there was hope when Lily called me crying after learning Mark cheated with an even younger college student. I tried to reason with her, hoping it would be a wake-up call, but she stayed after Mark's apologies and the pregnancy news. Their wedding is planned for next summer post-baby. My husband, Mia, and much of my family are uncomfortable and won't attend. I'm trying to stay strong, hoping to love my grandchild, but this remains painful. Thank you all for your support. It's meant a lot. Next story. Mom's dogs and family vacation. My mom has 2 small terrier mix dogs she adores, but they're obsessed with food, causing chaos at my home multiple times. It started with them shredding a bag of tortilla chips on my counter, leaving crumbs everywhere. Then they stole half a pizza from the table in seconds, smearing sauce on my carpet. At another gathering, despite asking Mom to keep them outside, they got into my kitchen, tore open bread rolls, ate $40 worth of seasoned ground beef, and devoured a block of cheese. I banned them from my house after that. Mom stopped visiting, which hurts, as she seems to choose her dogs over me. I planned a family vacation, renting a cabin for everyone. My sister is bringing her well-mannered pit bull, Daisy, but I didn't want Mom's dogs there. I feared they'd ruin the cabin, for which I paid the deposit, as Mom has shown she can't or won't control them. My sister suggested asking Mom to watch them closely, but past attempts failed. Would I be wrong to ban Mom's dogs, even though another dog is allowed? Comments with Ops replies. Comment 1. Not wrong, but could you ban all dogs to avoid hurt feelings? Op. My sister's dog, Daisy, has severe separation anxiety and was banned from a kennel before. She's well-behaved otherwise, so I don't want to punish her for Mom's dog's behavior. Comment 2. You're not wrong. If Mom insists on bringing her chaotic dogs, she should pay for the accommodations and deposit. I wouldn't share a space with such uncontrollable animals. Op. Chaotic dogs is spot on. Comment 3. I bet Mom would blame others if her dogs ate something toxic. Op. She bragged once that her dogs ate half a box of chocolate candies and were fine. I worry she thinks they're invincible. Op on Mom's reaction to dogs' behavior. She always says they're just hungry and can smell food. She doesn't clean up their messes. She stares at them, so I end up cleaning to prevent stains. Op on how dogs got the beef. They're clever and agile, likely using a drawer to climb onto the counter. They're house-trained and friendly, but absolute food fiends. Update 1. Vacation. At the end of the vacation, here's what happened. I took the easy way out and asked my dad to tell Mom her dogs weren't invited. He wasn't thrilled, but understood, sharing disturbing stories, like the dogs chewing through a locked bread box for pastries and damaging the fridge bottom to get inside. He loves them but sees why they're a problem. He said Mom was fine leaving them with neighbors. Everyone arrived except Mom, who Dad said was finishing things at home. She didn't show up the first night and I felt guilty. The next day she arrived with her dogs, acting casual. I was upset but reiterated they couldn't enter the cabin or stay overnight. She brushed it off, but later I found torn paper plates and a ripped garbage bag outside, clearly her dog's work. Furious, I confronted her, saying this was why they weren't invited. She blamed Daisy, but I shut that down, knowing her dog's history. She left with them, saying she'd go home. Dad was upset, saying I had no proof and was too harsh. My uncle found it amusing, glad to eat without the dogs stealing food. The trip felt ruined, and I regret thinking it could work. I miss Mom, but it's clear she and her dogs are inseparable, and excluding them was never an option. Thanks for the comments. They help me face reality. Update 2, I discussed with my sister the risk of Mom's dogs getting sick from eating trash. Since Mom is closer to my sister, I asked if we could convince her to train them. My sister arranged a dinner for the 3 of us. I asked Mom if she feeds her dogs dog food or just scraps. She got defensive, saying she gives them 2 cups of food twice daily. I noted that's a lot for small dogs, especially with scraps. She refused to discuss it further. My sister stepped in, offering to pay for an affordable dog training program if Mom took them. Mom seemed nervous, didn't commit, and said she had to leave. Outside, we found her dogs circling her legs. She'd left them in her car during dinner. My sister was furious, saying they could have been reported to the police. Mom snapped back, saying it was cool enough, and left. She's not responding to our texts. I'm done updating, everyone's upset, and I see no positive outcome. I tried to include Mom, but it only worsened things. Thanks for the advice.